Hello, everyone. Welcome to this conversation with Chetan Dhembre, who's the CTO of Loco, about building for hyper growth and scale. I'm your host, Alok, and today we're going to talk about what does it take while building teams and building products in hyper growth and scale environment. Glad to have you, Chetan.
Hello, hello, hello.
Chetan, right? We'll start with a very basic question on the philosophy side.
Mm.
Um, and then this is also slightly cool factor. I know that, I think Mark Zuckerberg said move fast and break things. And there are such similar different philosophies of different top tech companies which they have made, and people try to emulate it. But my
Mm.
question to you is, because now you have spent quite a good amount of time in the industry and building teams, seeing what works, what doesn't work. Is there any core philosophy which you follow? Uh, and then it can be your own philosophy as well, but what is that philosophy which you follow in terms of building teams and the products?
All my professional career, I work in startup. So as you know, the most important mantra in startup is like move fast and try not to break things. But yeah, so every time we launch new product or try to do something new, that the mantra which we go with. But over the period of time, moving fast with less bugs, because of experience, it helps us uh, because we build a lot of product over the last few years, so that helps. But it's also depending on where the stage your team at, or let's say where your project at also. So imagine, especially in startup, when you start with you have one product, and then you start building new features. Sometimes those feature can be itself a big product. So in different stages of the product life cycle, we can decide different way. For example, I can start initially just bang, 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 let's create new feature faster. And then after some time, I decided I can move on with where we focus on more rigorous cycle of testing, QA analysis, architecture decision and everything. So that's the philosophy. It's totally uh, depend on the situation where the product is. And actually I'm work in very small team, so it's easy for me to communicate with the different people. I know that when organization is huge, you have like one single message to communicate, and that the only message can go to a lot of people. Then that might be difficult but for me, with small team, I can have a different mantra to the different teams and then run with go with it because it suits their current need.
Got it, got it. So basically, it really depends on the stage. Uh, but given small team sizes, communication doesn't uh, come into the way because it's
Yeah,
easy to communicate.
yeah,
Uh, okay, let's talk about something very contextual right now. Over the last 2 years, remote work has kind of shot up like crazy, and
yeah,
people's expectations is today, especially in the tech domain, right, among the developers, when they are joining, they should have this flexibility.
yeah,
There are very few people, of course, who want to work
yeah,
in the premise because you need to feel the warmth and other things.
yeah,
But at the same time, do you think that this has impacted in some or the other way in terms of that hyper growth? That if you want to scale quickly, because you need to again, and here communication plays a very important role, because having someone in the same room when you're building,
yeah,
right, versus having someone at a different location.
yeah.
So do you think this is affected? And if yes, then how do you deal with it? How to make sure that you don't let the things get affected?
Yes,
Because it's very difficult to control the choices, right?
yeah,
People want that
yeah,
flexibility. So
yeah.
how do you deal with it?
Yes. So initially, I'll speak for the Locos point of view because we launched our game streaming platform during pandemic in 2020. Initially, the rush of launching new product actually, like those obstacles were never there because everyone was like, we want to launch new product, let's build faster and quicker. So those kind of problem did not came that time. But currently, I understand the situation where if I'm talking with anyone face to face, it's just not the text or visual, but you also understand the mood of the person and context also. So to get the that thing, your message across properly, uh, for us, that will be challenging. One thing I want to tell you, that I have not felt like our speed is slow. Uh, it's actually little bit improved also, but we have to take more effort for that. So one thing which we have to do, which we understood, is that what is more important is getting all team together on the single page. And it took a lot of time and effort for us initially to make sure all those communication, meeting with product team, design team, PRD readings, those initial meetings, you have to do it often, so that everyone on single page. Once that is done, then let the developer, in my case the developer, let them do their work. It's just only one stand up in the morning and that's it. You do whatever you want to do. And I think that actually helping a lot of people, where they have clear idea in their mind what they want to do and why we want to do that way, and what are the next step of my any process, what I things which I need to do, and the leisure of their working from home or anywhere in that matter, or any time in that matter. That is actually helping. So yeah, currently we are not seeing the slow space of product development, but it's not easy. We have to take effort towards it, by more communication, more showing empathy about other person, more questions. That way, it's not emotional yet, but the emotional connection between people, it's not there. But I guess we will get over it after some time, and we'll solve that problem also.
Got it. Fair enough. Fair enough. That basically it takes some efforts to align everyone, and when
Yeah.
that's in place,
Yes.
then it's a smoother ride after that.
Yeah.
Okay. Next is about again relatively for younger folks, right? I mean, and the junior developers, right? Uh, a lot of people get into development, like most of the other fields, is because of they're fascinated by how cool products you can
Yeah.
build.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very cool. It appears that you're coding,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you actually want to feel that energy. Building things at scale. People have seen that, especially when it comes to startups.
Yes. Yes.
They've seen that you can be a part of something
Yeah.
very incredible
Yeah.
journey,
Yeah.
wherein within a year you're able to contribute something which is being used by millions, your service, what
Yeah.
you've built.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's equally boring. I mean, you have to kind of, when people are working on bugs, that gets very, very boring
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
irritating.
Yeah.
So how do you, as a developer, if somebody has to uh, maintain that balance, right,
Yeah.
in terms
Yeah.
of doing cool versus dealing with
Yeah.
the boring but the important stuff,
Yeah.
how to go about it? And you as a leader, how do you ensure that your team actually understands that this is also important, this is, and there's a balance?
I think the major part I understand, like I was like, if I look for myself, I also always wanted to build next cool thing, and I totally get it. Important way to handle this kind of thing is like, the practicality is that it's not like everyone is not working on cool thing, right? And there are some boring but business critical things which we have to do, everyone has to do. So both are the reality of the world. So one thing which, the way we given, I have small team, not like 50 100 engineers. So for me communication become easier. So first thing which we have to do is like, how can I strike the balance and communicate to the person? So you have to be very straightforward with that person. This is what we want to do. I think this is how it will helpful. Even if it's bug, even if small bugs, you when you fix it, you encourage that person. Yeah, it was good, because you tell, like, if it is bug, then there are certain user are facing the issue, or let's say some, in our case, streamer are facing issue, or let's say their supply team who is facing the issue, or let's say product team is facing the issue. Then if you communicate that bug properly, the importance of the bug, that is helps. But it also important to strike out the balance. Like, usually even if you like human nature, you imagine it's you're working on some big project, you just cannot continuously work on the big project, high intensity project for like straight more than 3 weeks. So, and you, because you just cannot keep that much complexity in your head and without putting down on the code or anything. So I think it's for us, for the way we manage at Loco is that uh, we try to strike the balance. And also the important level is like where that person in the journey of in the tech team. So let's say there's one person who is joining, who is, let's say, junior, who is not, do not know code yet. So in that case, you have the different scenario where you can give him bugs, but also give him ample amount of time to say that you fix this bug, you have a lot of time, you also understand the code, how it is happening, you can ask me any question. Or second solution could be give him independent project, which is not related to the any code base, and let him run with that and see the growth. And then this way you understand, you also, that person also gets to get used to know what is your company culture, how, let's say, code style is there, how we deploy the thing, how we think about architecture, how we think about uh, PR reviews and all those things. So that's like initial phase. And then for the let's say person is on the, let's say, 1 to 2 month, and he like comfortable with the thing, so you can shift around the person more often. Like you have usually in any startup you have 2 to 3 projects, not project, actually services, which is doing a lot. I think in our case we have 4 to 5 main services which are there. So you shift around that person to, so every time after 3 to 4 months she get to know new code base. Also it's more exciting, and even if small bugs is become exciting for that person, because that this is a new code, new services, and also that person is learning new things. So that's how we are trying to strike balance between fixing the bugs and the giving exciting and new work. Most important part is like communicating. You have to be very direct, saying that this is the what I want you to do it now, because these are the bugs which we want to fix it, and I guess you are placed properly. That's the way we manage.
Got it. Got it. Moving on, let's talk about high performing teams. Everyone talks about it, that and in Netflix no rules mentions about it, that how important it is, and there's a framework to go about it. But practically, you know that there are a lot of trade-offs which you make. Like there might be somebody in the team who is extraordinarily high performer. People may call it 10x engineer, but then there are some trade-offs which come with it. What if that person is not great at working with the team, right? And similarly, there might be people whom you think are keeping the team together, but might not be that great. So when it comes to building overall high performing team, what has really worked in your mind putting this together,
Yeah.
and
So
what has not worked? Also, what are the trade-offs basically?
yeah. So over the period of time, also transition from like individual contributor to, let's say, manager and now CTO. You realize different uh, people have a different capability, I think. But what we want, and actually what I think we should always try for, is that we want person who is giving his 100%. I'm not asking 150% or anything, just 100%, and being humble with that. That's the, if you, that 100% makes that person 10x developer, that's great, and humble, that great, but does not that should not come with the, that should not come with the problem in the team structure, the team collaborate with each other. I think over the long, this is one thing which I realized and learned over the last 3 to 4 years, is that it's okay to have a 10x engineer in your team, but your team building is very important, because any given time you have, if you want, if you want team want to be successful, or let's say ultimately you want your company to be successful, and the company to be successful, there are any given time there are 3 to 4 things that simultaneously going on, like maybe in feature, new product which we are launching, bug fixes also. So one 10x engineer cannot handle all those things. So what you need is the team who is encouraged with each other and actually learning, so that you have the cumulative effect over the period of time. So, but at the same time, you have to understand the requirement also. So for example, the person who might have more knowledge about system or has a, let's say, little bit more experience than another person, in that case you have to give that person that project if that person is project is most important, but somehow manage in such a way that all other person also getting to that level, and it's more of the team building than the one person's worship. That's why we have a lot of things like we try to have the architecture talk which shared everyone. There's a technical internal, we have talk series where everyone come and talk about the architecture or anything, so that at least you have a level playing ground for everyone and the opportunity to learn. But toxicity and not team player is no total no for us, because I think for the long term it won't help, and it's not good for the team. That thing which I personally learned over the last 3 to 4 years.
Got it. Basically, it's very important that if you're building for long term, then you really make sure that you draw that boundary line, that irrespective of the contribution or the capability or skill set of a person, if it leads to any sort of toxicity or affecting the work of others, then it's a big no.
Yeah, it's actually very important in remote work also, because in remote work, because of Chinese whisper, you get like one thing can convert into 2 things or 5 things. So it has to be like very good rule is set in the rock, like this is what we are, and we are the team thing. We are the team with everyone should get opportunity to learn and do exciting things, so that everyone is happy, and happy team will bring happy products.
Got it. Happy team builds happy products. That's a good summary. Chetan, thanks for taking out time for this conversation on building for hyper growth and scale environment. Here's for having you.
Thank you, Alok.